Welcome to episode 28 of the Rise Fitness and Nutrition Podcast. Today we are going to talk about something that does directly impact the quality of your fitness and nutrition, but it often is not taken into consideration. We're going to talk about sleep, and I'm going to give 4 simple tips to improve your sleep health if you're having any kind of trouble getting the sleep in. Happy listening. Sleep matters. You can train as hard as you can. Keep your diet pretty much in control, but if your sleep is not working, your progress will be impacted. How? Well, one for all, if you don't recover properly, your strength will decrease over time, your workouts will be less effective, but the risk of injury will increase. It's true that sleeping is a delicate thing, and there are so many factors that can impact it, some of which we can control directly, and some others that require different efforts and more delicate discussions. But as I had some sleeping issues myself, let me give you 4 simple advices that I have been working on myself to improve the quality of my sleep and ultimately my health. The advices I'm about to give you are all based on one simple assumption, that our brain thrives on the routine, thrives on the habit, thrives on situations where your brain is trained and gets used to do something at a specific time. Now, time doesn't make much sense when you talk about our brain because our brain doesn't really understand time as it is, but since we live around the clock, it might make more sense if I explain you this way. The first one is simple. The time you go to sleep matters. And you might say, duh, it's obvious, dude. Yeah, but the thing is that having an irregular sleeping time might make it difficult for your brain to understand when it's time to start going into sleep mode. So the better you become at sleeping at a regular time, the more your brain will be able to adapt and send you the right signal at the right time. If you have troubles with this, here is my habit improvement tip. Based on your schedule during the week, decide a time when you'll be in bed. It can be any time. It can be 11 p.m., it can be midnight, it can be 10:30, it can be any time as long as you have, first of all, enough sleep compared to the time when you had to wake up, and as long as you have it very clear in mind and you are going to respect that time. Therefore, write it down so you know it and schedule an alarm on your phone at least half an hour before to push you to get ready to go to sleep. It might sound radical, but hey, working on adjusting that night by night until you can be consistent 5 days out of 7, well, the weekend is the weekend, I understand, can give you a huge boost in the sleep quality. And trust me, because this really works. Advice number 2. Now, this doesn't necessarily affect me, but I heard from a lot of people and also from coworkers that sometimes they use wine or a beer or a little bit of liquor before sleeping as it makes them feel tired and sleepy, so in their mind it helps them sleep better. Now, on one hand, it's true that alcohol makes you sleepy, so it gives you the impression of being able to rest. But alcohol, unfortunately, just makes you sleepy, but it actually doesn't help you. It doesn't allow your brain to rest. So it basically can reduce REM sleep and cause sleep disruptions. Now, you might not feel them during the night, but definitely you will feel them in the morning when you wake up tired or exhausted. So drinking before bedtime can have you experience insomnia symptoms and feel excessively sleepy the following day. And I'm going to put a link in the show description so that you can go and check out the source of this information. Now, this doesn't affect me directly because I don't specifically drink before going to sleep as a way to help me sleep, but if I go out and I have some food and some drinks with friends, I realize that when I go to sleep, I don't really rest, and the morning after, I am much more tired than usual. And well, it's not because I drank like crazy and I'm completely hangover and smashed. It's just that alcohol doesn't allow your brain to rest, so your body physically is in sleep mode, but your brain is like having a party on its own. So here is my habit improvement tip. Now, I know that this can be hard if you specifically feel this need to drink something before sleeping, but say, for example, if you drink 2 or 3 glasses of wine every night, maybe if you use this as a sleeping aid, I would suggest you to gradually start reducing it. So maybe instead of 2 or 3 per night, try to drink 1 or 2 consistently for 7 or 10 days. And then when you're being consistent for 7 or 10 days, try to decrease. And then you go on, you take it from there to the point where you reach almost either no drinks during the week at least, or no drinks at all before going to sleep. And I can assure you again that your brain will thank you, because it will be able to stop partying on its own and actually rest. Advice number 3 is very common, and we have been hearing about this so many times in the past, I would say a couple of years. But sometimes it belongs to some of those things that we hear a million times but we never actually listen to. So I'm gonna make it simple. Screen time. Screen time does affect your sleep, but it's not necessarily because of the blue light. Oh man, the blue light is burning your eyes. No, the thing is that screen time affects your sleep this way. Sure, on one hand, blue light might keep you awake, triggering your brain into thinking it's still daytime and not yet time to sleep. But apart from that, screen time, well, basically the content of what you're consuming, does have an impact on the restlessness of your brain. So if you watch something, some videos on YouTube, on your phone, you're watching some specific videos on Netflix, you're watching whatever you're watching or whatever you're reading, or you're scrolling for hours on Instagram or TikTok or whatever you're scrolling and looking at, this action, these videos, this content is what might be triggering your brain to stay awake. While your body is asleep, your brain is still triggered. So your brain again is having some sort of party on its own, this time scrolling through videos, processing the excitement, and re-watching basically what you have been watching before. And this is subtle, but if your brain doesn't rest, in the morning you wake up tired. So here is my habit improvement tip, and this is also something I have been using on my own. Let's take one step back. You have set your alarm at least half an hour before bedtime, right? So, and this is also going to be the moment when all the screens go off. It does require a strong effort, it's true, I understand, but as every habit, it's important that you work gradually to build this. So if you set your alarm to go to sleep half an hour before bedtime, then slowly work through having all the screens off, say 15 minutes before bedtime, and take it from there. If you can reach the point where you have 5 days out of 7 screen-free half an hour before sleeping, that would be awesome. And then one last thing, what's way better than the glare of a phone and the anxiety that scrolling through Instagram and TikTok gives you? A book. Consider reading a few pages of a book, and I promise that your brain will shut down and you sleep like a baby. And here is my last simple advice to start improving your sleep. Turn off those lights. There's a song from the U2 called The City of Blinding Light. And as much as I love the song, I don't like going back home in the evening and being just flashed by super powerful white lights in my apartment. And this goes along with the glare of your screen. When bedtime approaches, very bright light will trigger your brain to go running around in circles and never stop, and basically tell the brain, hey dude, it's not sleep time, you can go crazy. So here is my habit improvement tip. There are 2 ways to work on this. One is a little bit more radical and the other one is more gradual. And let's have a look at them. Hit the switch the radical way. When you come back home in the evening, turn on exclusively dim lights, of course if you have them, whenever you need any type of light in the room. This will tell your brain a strong message. Slow down and get ready. We are going to sleep like babies tonight. And here is the thing. If you come back, say, 6 p.m., from that moment onwards, use dim lights only. And I'm saying this, it is a little bit radical. And then there's the gradual way. The same way you stop having screen around your eyes half an hour before sleeping, when the time to sleep alarm rings, turn on dim lights only around you. This also will signal your brain that it's time to slow down because you're going to sleep soon. Now for me specifically, I go with the radical way. I have purchased RGB LED strips on Amazon and I have them in my bedroom pointing at the ceiling. So every evening, whenever I turn on any type of light, I turn them on only. And the tone I chose is a very dim orange tone. And I have to say, it does make a huge difference. If before, when I had the regular super bright light on, I could have troubles sleeping before midnight and still feel like very awake while approaching bedtime, since I go back home, I turn on dim lights only. When I lie down on the bed, I am already halfway asleep. And I know it sounds silly, but triggering your brain into sleep mode is the key thing that makes a difference to start improving your sleep from today. These were just 4 simple tips that I have been using myself, and I have to say that they greatly improved my sleep and its quality. Now, as everything, they do require a little bit of work on your side, but it doesn't have to be all of a sudden, all together. I do believe that if you can work like I did, adding them gradually into your lifestyle, the sleep quality and your overall quality when it comes to training and fitness derived from the sleep quality that you have will definitely start improving. Thank you very much for listening today. If you enjoyed this episode, please leave a 5-star review on Apple Podcast. And if you have the chance to share this on Instagram with your friends, that will surely be super helpful. Let me know on my Instagram channel at thecarl.fit if you were able to improve your sleeps with these 4 simple tips. And I'll talk to you next week.